All right, we are live. This is the Actual Fluency Podcast. Whoop, 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 whoop. Maybe I can change the brightness here. Yep, make it a little bit brighter. So you see my face. It's time to invite Mr. Keith Swayne. Invite people. I think he's here. No, he's not here. Where is he? Mr. Swayne. Here we go. All you gotta do is click that link. All right. Oh, the drawer is open. Oh, it's okay. All right. Now we wait. See if any straggling polyglots can be caught by the net that we have set out. There's still time. So I guess I can thank you all for being part of the Actual Fluency Patreon, because I know this material is not going to make the normal show. This is going to only go on Patreon. So thank you guys. And I hope you enjoy it. I've been sick for a while, so I'm looking forward to getting back into the action, doing some more podcasting, because that's where it's at, you know. This is the Actual Fluency Podcast, the weekly language learning podcast. I'm really excited to be bringing it to you. And so we'll see what happens. I actually, for a change, I'm not too displeased with my hair. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit big. Double chin, slightly questionable. Enjoying the winter food a little bit too much, maybe. Yeah, so I had a break last week, and basically a breakdown almost, I guess, with I had a cold and basically having to have no energy, and just it just wasn't very nice. If you ever felt if you ever tried being sick when you really want to get stuff done, it's really hard. And you might hear my nose is a little bit stuffed still. I mean, imagine that 100 times worse a few days ago. I couldn't record a podcast because well, maybe I could have, but I just want to make the highest possible quality, right? I want to make this the best podcast there is. I don't want to do something half-ass. So I hope half-assed, as they say in American English, half-assed. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy this episode with Keith. He's going to be here in just a moment, and we can get started with the shenanigans. God, I feel a little bit pale. I mean, it is winter after all. So yeah, if you're a patron, really appreciate it. If you're not a patron, how did you get this video? But I would really love it if you could give some feedback on the Patreon page, because I want to make it into sort of what you want to see. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, feedback for what I could provide you guys there, I'd love to hear it. I'm doing this for you guys. Obviously, I'm very happy about the support you're doing, but also, this is for you. If you weren't there, I wouldn't be doing the extra stuff. Do I have space problems? 12 gigabytes should be okay. Sometimes it can be tough to record full HD video. See if Mr. Swayne has got the link. Privacy checker? What the fuck? I'll be there in 5 minutes. That's perfectly fine. Bam, 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 bam. Do a little jamming, a little polyglot jamming. So what is this? This is episode 13 of the podcast. So about halfway in season 3. I'm really excited about it. And what else have we got coming up? I think I'll do about 22 episodes. Pretty accurate. Was that what I did in 2? I think I did 22 episodes in 2. So I think I'll continue that. 22 episodes seems pretty fair because then you get 44 episodes in a year, and then the remaining, 8 weeks, 2 months off. That seems pretty perfect, actually. You need that downtime to find new guests, get your mojo back, and rejuvenate. I don't know, but get your mojo back, basically, because if you're doing interviews every week, at some point you're just going to get bored or burned out or something like that. So yeah, we will see. Filling the dead air. This is a late interview because Keith is in Canada, so he's quite far behind, actually, on the time scale. He's about 7 hours. Is that true? He's at 1. Oh, he's 9 hours behind, actually. Yeah, that's a big difference. So it's a late night episode, late night actual fluency podcast recording. So we'll see how it goes. Keith will be here any minute, so you don't have to listen to me all alone. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, this is quite annoying. How do I disable notifications? How do I disable Facebook notifications? Extensions, oui. Disable Facebook desktop notifications. That's actually quite annoying anyway. Because you don't even have Facebook open. And it still pops up. It's really annoying. I don't want any notifications. It's too distracting. I just disabled all my notifications. We will see. And by the way, if you have any feedback, any questions or comments about the podcast in general, feel free to contact me. I'd love to answer your questions. It should be HD, yeah. Video trouble, disable HD. I kind of like HD. But anyway, if you have any comments, feedback, I'd love to hear it because after all, I'm doing these interviews for, of course, myself, but also for you. So if there's anyone you want to hear from, any guest suggestions, feel free to send me an email or a message and I'll invite people. One person I have got a lot of requests for is Mr. What's his name? Mr. Tim Donor. And I have been in contact with him, and he did say he was going to make it this season. But so far, I have yet to hear from him. I met up with him in New York. I said, Tim, would you like to do the podcast? And he was like, yes, definitely. I was almost surprised because I was like, yeah, he's a busy person, blah, blah, blah. And he just said, let's do it. And I was really psyched to hear that because he's a very requested guest. So it's going to be fun to have him on and let him tell his story in a sort of, very casual environment. All the media appearances he's done has always been, 2 minutes of show us your language skills on, Good Morning America, something like that. It's never really been an in-depth discussion of just sitting down and talking about what's on Tim's mind, And I'm looking forward to that greatly. to see just just hear his side of the story, because obviously the media has painted a picture of him, and he's incredibly talented. No doubt about it. But I wanted to talk to him about how he feels about all this media attention, how he's like the face of polyglotism in America, and how he managed to do it. How did he dedicate so much time and energy to learning languages at such a young age? How did he become so obsessed is what I want to know. Part of the podcast here is about looking at peak performers, or people who are at the top of their game, and see how did they do it. And I think Tim is a very interesting person, and I'd love to talk to him about it. So Tim, if you're watching, I know it's unlikely, or listening, please come on the show. Let's do it. So let's see what the future brings. I'm also looking forward to season 4. I'm going to be looking to get some awesome new guests, and as always, of course. And I have some ideas for season 4 as well, but some of the main ideas are, of course, to improve what's going on now. That means continue to improve the video format, maybe get some new equipment, just continue doing what I'm doing, because I know this is what you guys want. I mean, this is the format, and this is what people like about the show, this casual, conversational, talking format. I'm not going to change that, but I will definitely look into improving the current offering, and I hope that'll be nice. One of the things that I'm hoping to do is to, instead of having each episode focus on a person, I'd love each episode to focus on a theme. It's a little bit difficult because sometimes, when I do these learner profiles, but I guess that's a theme in and of itself. But sometimes when I do these learner profiles with how did you start learning languages, the theme always is language learning. So you couldn't have like 200 episodes that says theme language learning. But I'd love to do something in the future where each episode has some kind of overarching theme. Could be like how to teach a language, or basically there are a lot of ways to do it. So if I'm talking to the guys behind Memrise, it could be memorize and how to memorize stuff with Ed Cook. So you can see in the title what the episode's about. I think that would be good for season 4 and onwards. I briefly thought about changing it retroactively as well, but I mean, there's like 80 episodes, so it's going to take forever. And I think there's also some beauty to leaving the past as it was. You can change things and stuff, but I think going back to realize your origin is also quite valuable. I'm not gonna change too much. I'm gonna be more regular with the normal blog posting, though. Maybe put out more videos. Maybe try to start doing these, maybe start editing videos instead of just pointing a camera at me and then talking for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and then just uploading it. Maybe I should try editing together some coherent vlog. That would be kind of cool. What else is new? Patreon. I'm gonna upload the new episodes. If there are any topics you want Chris Thinks to be about, be sure to let me know in Patreon so I can make the relevant episodes. Obviously, a lot of them will be whatever I'm thinking at the moment, but I also want to hear from you, of course. So that's the idea. Some people wonder probably what it costs to run a sizable website. It's not expensive. It's not cheap either. Actually, running the podcast itself is also quite pricey because you have to have hosting off server, otherwise your website is going to tank. So just running the podcast itself, just the hosting part of it, is $40 a month. That's starting. And then you have to have the website, and you have to have, all these things that combine to make it the experience it is. So some people wonder why I started a Patreon. Well, if people like what I'm doing, I want to give them the chance to support it. I'm not selling anything. I'm offering everything for free, basically. So, I mean, I don't think I could do premium podcasts. I would be, the people I talk to, I want to share their ideas to the widest possible audience. I don't want to restrict it behind some paywall. So you'll never be restricted from watching the podcast. And Keith is saying he's just about here. So that's good. He's just having some problems with the Google account, which is like the master account of everything nowadays. So anyway, yeah, that's basically it. The future is bright, very bright for many reasons. Not only because of actual fluency, but yeah, I'm learning Hungarian, having a lot of fun with it. My Russian is pretty strong, actually. I'm not so good at speaking, but understanding, I actually understand quite a lot. I was very surprised by that. I was watching some easy Russian, those videos where they talk on the street. I was actually pretty impressed with my how much I understood and my vocabulary. Even though it's not that big, it's very functional. So I'm looking forward to improving those two languages in this year and getting in the routine of. Right now, I'm doing the italki language challenge. That's good motivation to do lessons. I have a good tutor who focuses on the things that I need to know, and yeah, everything's good. Can't complain. Looking forward to Berlin Polyglot Gathering, the third one in the series, and the third one I'm going to join. So I'm very happy about that. I registered, and I will be paying a little bit later. Yeah, I hope to see many of you guys there. It's always good fun. So we're hoping that Mr. Swayne is going to show up very soon. Otherwise, we might have to change this to, we might have to go Skype for this one. Old school. Hopefully everything works.
Hello.
Oh, you scared me. Hey, Keith. How's it going?
Good. That was not easy. What a deal that was.
Oh yeah. Well, look at it this way. Now you're set up for all future Hangouts.
Yeah, I never use Google Hangouts.
Right.
I never use Google Hangouts. I use Skype all the time, but I've got a son. I'm just putting my phone in airplane mode so that there's no interruptions. Yeah, I've got a son in Germany, and we Skype every Sunday. And I've got a few students that I teach online, and I use Skype. But Google Hangouts, yeah. Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah, it's really easy to use, and once it's up and running, of course. Yeah. So that's why I switched to it from Skype, because it saves the audio and the video all automatically.
Oh yeah.
Whereas with Skype, I had to sort of record the screen, and it was kind of complicated when you're doing it every week. So this is.
I use a program called Tintin to record Skype calls, and it works flawlessly. It goes on automatically when I open Skype.
Cool. Yeah, I have something that records the audio as well.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna log off Skype. Speaking of Skype,
you don't use the video, do you? When you do your interviews, it's just a convenient way to talk.
Oh yeah, I do now for the the podcast is still audio, but I use the video for the YouTube channel, so to add an extra layer of
really?
content.
I haven't even found you on YouTube. Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so that's the new for season 3 that I started doing video, and it has its own set of challenges for sure.
Yeah.
So great.
Very cool. And you are right now. You're in Budapest.
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite cold. Hogy jól köszönöm. Este.
Nem beszélek magyarul. That's about all I can say.
És nem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions before we get started, or do you want to just jump in there?
No, I guess you have a, you have your plan, and I'm just going to be brave, and without knowing what you're going to say, my anxiety is way up, but I'll be cool in a few minutes. That's
the spirit. Well, cool. The good thing is I don't have much of a plan, so
okay,
nothing much to worry about. The idea of the or sort of the format since, well, it's been 80 episodes now, has
Yeah.
basically been, I don't want to know much more about the guest than my audience does. So I try to just have, a kind of a structure in mind. But after having done 80 episodes, I'm perfectly capable of just
Yeah.
winging it. And that gets better discussion usually anyway.
Yeah. You enjoy doing it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and actually, that's why I started in the first place, because I wanted
Yeah.
to talk to people and get all
Yeah.
their secrets, and I've made so many great connections using the podcast. So
Yeah.
for me, it's been
You do a
great.
really good job. I said to my wife, I said, I think you could interview a house plant and make it interesting.
Right. Well, I certainly try. Well, thank you for the kind words. It's very nice. It sometimes is challenging. Some people have more interesting stories than others, but
Yeah.
I think there is always something interesting to explore in everyone, and
Yeah.
that's my aim with every interview. Is like find what's interesting, what makes them tick, and then
Yeah.
explore that. So I hope to do that with you today.
Cool.
Have you had your Starbucks yet? Your 8-shot venti?
I have not had one today. Last I think I posted on Facebook. I got myself I actually had a 6-shot venti Americano, but I finished it before my students arrived for their Spanish lesson. So I ordered another one, and I was so sick. Man, at 3 o'clock in the morning, my stomach, I just felt gross. It wasn't insomnia. I felt sick to my stomach, just too much coffee. I never thought the words too much could ever go in front of the word coffee, but apparently.
Right. You should see when I went to order it for the first time, the 6-shot venti.
Yeah.
Here in Budapest. They have not heard of that before, so they looked at me funny.
It's even weirder if you ask for 6 long shots or 8 long shots. That means that by the time you get your venti cup, there's nothing in it but shots of coffee. And that will change your body chemistry for a year.
Right. Yeah, I was buzzing a little bit that day for sure, like twitching a little bit, and that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I'd love to get into that. I mean, if you ever want to start, I don't know, a blog or something, you have the coffee shop polyglot is for sure obvious. I think that's you. Oh, anyway, well, let's just get right into it and see where it takes us.
Sure.